first with a profile, and it's very important to have a all-star status on LinkedIn with your profile. Everything has to be fixed. Yeah, everything has to be complete, 100% complete. And the most important thing is the LinkedIn slogan. And then, you know, underneath your name, the slogan, and then the headline, the banner, the info box, your experience, everything has to be fixed. And afterwards, we talk about the target group. It's very important. First, the target group has to be on LinkedIn. If the target group is not on LinkedIn, makes no sense. Therefore, we make at the very beginning sure a potential check if the target group is on LinkedIn. And if not, we don't start the project. But if the target group is there, we use one special thing, and that's the best thing ever on LinkedIn is the sales navigator. The sales navigator, you have more than 30 different criteria to filter the target group, like demographic filter, like the region, the position, like if you search for small and mid-sized companies, you can say, okay, let's have a look for companies with employees from 11 to 200 employees. And we look for the CEO in the region, for example, Germany or Poland, wherever. And then we start the filter. We have some special filters on top, but that's the basics. And then you have a list maybe of 2,000 interesting profiles, and you start to connect. That's very important. And therefore, you have to have a very detailed description of your target group. And on top, also the interest of the target group. We talk about buyer personas, like not the demographics, we have to have on top like the buying criteria, the pain points, and so on, because you want to contact them with a nice message, like connect with value. Yeah, that's we always added value in your messages, but also in your postings. And that's the second step, write postings on LinkedIn for your target group, not for all the guys on LinkedIn, one post for one target group, and don't spread it out for everybody. The post has to be for your target group, and you know why your target group buys, and you know what are the pain points for your target group. And if this is defined, we can say, okay, please use this post format, because most of the guys on LinkedIn, they use just picture with text. There are quite a lot of things more what you can use. You can make a survey, you can make a LinkedIn newsletter, you can make LinkedIn Live. And like LinkedIn newsletter, LinkedIn Live is very pushed by LinkedIn. They released it also, I think 2 weeks ago, by the new algorithm release, where they really said, okay, we will push LinkedIn Lives even more, or LinkedIn newsletters. And, you know, if a company release a new product or release a new service, they want, yeah, that's employees, that's employees, the people out there use also the products. That's why you should use those services. And, you know, then we have the postings, we have the connections where we can connect or upgrade your network. And at the end, you have to have the right KPIs. Yeah, you need to measure what you do day by day, not only for the postings, also for the connections. How many connection requests I sent every week? What is the connection rate? It should be 30 above. 30% is a good value, but it should be 30 or higher. And also for the postings, we get this question quite often. How many impressions should I have? If you have 1,000 contacts, you should have 1,000 impressions or more. And everything on 1,000, then the half on top. Like if you have 3,000 contacts, you should have 2,000 impressions. And what you should also measure for your KPIs is the profile visits. Because let's imagine, okay, you ramp up your profile. You get week by week, 60 new or 70 new contacts. But it's also interesting how many contacts, also not yet contacts, come to your profile. And with the Sales Navigator, you can use those contacts. You can evaluate which profile or which guys come to your profile, but not connected yet. And then you can also start the next system and contact these profile visits, because profile visits already had a intent, because they like your content, they like your connection and so on. And you should use those filters as well. Yeah.
Mm.
So in conclusion, ramp up your profile, then post on a regular base, ramp up your network, but also measure all those two things. Yeah.
Mm. Awesome.
And that's very important. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned really interesting numbers. So if someone has 1,000 followers, he or she should get about 1,000 impressions.
Yeah.
Would you say that with the higher number of followers or connections, the number of impressions also increases? Because, for example, on my profile, I see the other trend. Like I have about
Mhm.
3,000 followers, but I get much fewer impressions,
Yeah.
which almost looks like it goes the other way around. You know, the more connections I have, the fewer people actually engage. Is it just me, or is it something you've seen with other accounts as well?
Yeah, it's very good question. Sometimes we have clients with 10,000 contacts. They come to us, and then we need to activate those contacts. And the first question is always, how did you get those contacts? And some of them say, I just clicked. Yeah. And then, oh, they say, okay, probably we should delete some contacts, because what is the problem? The problem is that the contacts are not the target group. And therefore, the posts are not made for those contacts, because what I said at the very beginning, you should make one post with one message for one target group, and you know the buying intent. Um, yeah. And therefore, if you have more followers, then it's getting harder and harder to activate those contacts if the target group, yeah, is not very specific. Yeah. Best case is you have a sub niche, not niche, sub niche. And in this niche are especially maybe CEOs in a special area with a special company size. You make only postings for this target group, and then you will have a very good impact also when your followers are growing. And for the followers, you should also have in mind, you have the close followers. Like close followers would also be your clients, or your personal contacts. Then you have your target group, and then the network of the network. And therefore, because you should have this in mind, because your personal network will interact a lot. That's why at the very beginning, when I start with a client, then I always ask, hey, are you connected with all of your clients, with all of your personal contacts, with your CRM contacts? And if not, yeah, I tell them, okay, you should do it, because the interaction of those clients will be, or contacts will be higher compared to your target group network or network of the network. Because in all cases, it's the same. You post something, and the first 2 hours will be most important for the postings, because the first 2 hours, LinkedIn, it's the algorithm. The algorithm needs numbers, and they just check how many guys interact with the post, click on more read for the first 2 hours. Even better if they like it and make a comment. And yeah, and then it's a calculation. If you have, let's say, 60, 70 comments in the first 2 hours, you will have more than 10,000 impressions. And you can be sure we have a lot of data. It's really like this. The first 2 hours, um, if there's a lot of interaction, the post will work very, very good. And therefore, it's also important to post on the right time, like in the morning. It's best time in the mid of the week, in the mornings, like 8, 9 a.m. because then you have the first 2 hours in a very active time slot. Let's say like this. For some guys, it's also good in the evening, but in general, also if we have a lot of statistics from ourselves, from our clients, but also from other statistics, and it's always the same that the average says post in the mid of the week in the morning. Yeah, and then you have to have a lot of interactions.
Yeah. Interesting that you mentioned just a while ago with these people who are not the target group. Like in my case, for example, with these 30,000 connections, you are right, probably half of them or even more are people who sent me a connection request years ago, and I haven't really, I don't know them. They just send me the connection request, but they are not my target group. So would you advise to trim the list at first before you start really doing this LinkedIn campaign?
Yeah. I really would do it somehow if this spread is too big. Like if you have 30,000 contacts and only 5,000 contacts are your target groups, and I would really go for it and trim the contacts, make it very sharp, and then yeah, you will have also a better interaction rate. And the posts are made for your target group, and LinkedIn has to measure how many percentage of your contacts interact with the post. But first, also the post is distributed to 10-15% of your target group and of your contacts. And imagine if those 10-15% is not your target group, you will have no interactions. Yeah, worst case, they also check if who has interacted before with postings and so on. It's not always other 10-15% of your followers, but it's always like this.
Interesting how the algorithm works, and once you understand it, you can really take action the right way. And speaking of these posts, so what kind of post should a CTO who is potentially looking for a job within the next 3 to 6 months, what kind of a post should he or she post? Is it a post more controversial, or is it a post about family stuff, personal stuff that probably get more interaction, or is it some professional, very technical stuff?
Yeah, it should be a mix, because LinkedIn is a B2B network, and it's always a person, it's a people business, and therefore a lot of companies also come to us, hey, can you take over my company profile on LinkedIn? I say, no, I cannot do this because it makes no sense. We will have no interactions. We will have no performance. If we post just from the company profile, and from the company profile, you cannot send a connection request to your target group. So we always start with the personal profile. And the performance of the personal profile will always be better than the company profile. And on the personal profile, you should also use the post formats which are ranked very high or which are pushed at the moment on LinkedIn. And if you, for example, as a CTO, you have a project, like a 3-month project, and you finish the project, I would recommend you to make a post about the project. Say, okay, thank you for the project that was running very good. We achieved our targets, and also include maybe the employees of this company, and try that they interact with the post, because then the post will be sent to the network of the network, so the network of these employees, and it's also very good for your authority, also for the trust, credibility, and you have a testimonial. It's very important also to have testimonials, and with this post you would catch all of these points. And also have a mix on your personal profile with personal content, but also technical content, for your authority, for your, that you show that you are the expert in this field, but also show how you work, how about something about your mindset. It should be a mix because they want to work with us. They ask you to be a CTO for 3-6 months to help the company, and therefore it's again a people business. They want to have a person who is nice, who has the same values maybe, and therefore it should be a mix, yeah, of content formats.
Interesting, very cool. And if we could go back to the connections and outreach that you mentioned with self-mediator or without, it's kind of straightforward for fractional CTOs who may be looking for a short-term job. Usually they kind of work for clients, you know, they position this client work, they're looking for clients. But people who are looking for a full-time job, they are looking for a full-time opportunity to join some of these companies, high-tech startups, scale-ups. So the kind of approach seems to be similar, but maybe there are some differences. Like, have you seen some other examples of how people get a new job through a similar approach? Is the messaging different, or the target audience, or how about using LinkedIn and the approach to get a better job?
Yeah. First of all, the marketing principles to get new customers or a new job are completely the same. You only need to know what is your target group. And for customers, it's like, as I said, the CEO of a mid-sized company. And for a CTO job, it's a CEO, yeah, of a mid-sized company when they want to have a new project. And for a full-time job, it's the same. You only need to know who's the people I have to speak. And for me, it's very surprising that that very limit or only few people use this opportunity to write a message to a CEO or to a head of HR of a company. It's very easy. You only need to know the company, and then you can filter on LinkedIn the position and write them a message. And I know from my experience that only few people do it, but you should do it, and it's very easy, and you will be surprised how easy it is to really get in contact to CxOs, yeah. Whatever, yeah. I've also a lot of contact to former colleagues of mine, and it's very easy to first get in contact, but also get in touch also for years and months or every year, write a message and get in contact. It's a very, very easygoing possibility to write to the right people.
Yeah, it's so true now with these tools, with LinkedIn and the other sales tools like Sales IQ and Apollo and Contact Out. Like, it's just so easy to get contact details of pretty much anyone around the world, not even talking about LinkedIn connections. So it's probably more about the drill and finding time to do it. But probably, that's why also clients come to you and say, hey, can you just take over my LinkedIn profile and do it for me?
Yeah. As you said, with Apollo, other tools, it's for the last months, it was also a massive impact what some companies ramped up. For example, you can easily integrate your CRM into LinkedIn with special software. The name is Surf, and it's just one click. And maybe for you from the technical side, they have one special thing that they enrich the data. They use first the LinkedIn data, but they also use a special algorithm with a waterfall system to enrich the data from all those other softwares like Apollo, etc. And then you start first with the LinkedIn request, have a LinkedIn conversation, but you can also enrich the data and hand over or get the telephone number or write them an email, put them into your CRM. You can make a complete system out of it. But the surprising thing is also for very big companies that the first contact is always at LinkedIn. And why? Because it's a very growing company. In Germany alone, we have 17 million LinkedIn users. And the usage rate is very high also in other companies, in other countries. And the first contact is on LinkedIn. And also for the GDPR conformity and so on. What is the answer if I ask them, is it GDPR conform to write them an email in the second step and say yes, because they connected on LinkedIn and therefore they've shown an intent to my product, and that's why I can write them an email. And that's the second reason. First, it's a very trustable network. And the second reason is this GDPR thing. That's why a lot of companies do the first step then and then do other things like cold calling, emailing, and so on. Yeah.
Interesting. And since you operate in the DACH region, there used to be also this other network similar to LinkedIn, Zinc, or what was the name of it?
Yeah,
I
I
think
almost forgot the name.
Yeah. Oh,
No,
okay. It's not really
just joking. Yeah, it's a thing. I think had a quite a hard time because Sing is only for the German. It's with German language, and Sing I think completely concentrated now on recruiting and events. But the growing rate of Sing is very limited. It's even decreasing, I think. And yeah, we have a lot of clients who use Sing before, but they see the possibility of LinkedIn now, also the growing of LinkedIn, the increase of the people on LinkedIn, also worldwide. If you want to do something international, and we can see a lot of things in the US and other countries. And if you go to US and you want to hand over a business card, they ask you, hey, what are you doing? You just give me your LinkedIn profile. And, there will be even more in the future. And LinkedIn uses now also advertising on TV. So the increase of LinkedIn followers will be even more in the future.
Yeah. Okay, so let's focus on LinkedIn then. And
Yeah.
you mentioned the KPIs that you are also tracking for the different LinkedIn profiles that you manage.
Yeah.
So one was the impressions of the posts. The other was number of visits of the profile. Is there some other KPI that you are also linked to track?
Yeah, you should track how many connection requests you send per week. And then also the second messages, we say a qualification message, the second message, how many did you send out, and then also the contacts. Because if you measure only the connection request and the second message, the other contacts who ask you to connect are not included in the first two numbers. That's why you should also integrate or measure your contacts. And the third value is the connection rate. It's a number out of the first two. And profile visits, I already mentioned it, and impressions. But the most important value is the value leads and follow-ups. Leads is always, for us, it's a telephone call, Zoom call like we do now, or physical call or physical meeting, and follow-ups, leads and follow-ups, because that is the outcome. That is most interesting value also for our clients. And leads is quite clear. You make a call and maybe you make business with the people on the other side. But follow-ups is sometimes not really grabbable. Let's say it like this. And you should really implement also a follow-up process. And therefore, what I said before, with the emailing, but also with save potential clients on lists, you should have a follow-up process. That's very important. And therefore, you can imagine that it makes a lot of sense to implement a monthly update, like a email newsletter, where you also invite your follow-ups on LinkedIn to this newsletter, and then you are in mind. Like, it's also interesting not only for new customers, also for new employees. If you search new employees on LinkedIn, and you say or something, say, oh yeah, it's very interesting, but let's talk in maybe 1 year. Okay, I put you on my monthly update and we can keep in touch. Okay, fits. And that's why it was very important for us also to implement a follow-up process. And therefore I can highly recommend to implement a kind of process like a monthly update. Yeah.
And this monthly update, do you mean by email or within the
Yeah.
LinkedIn, just to send one more message?
Yeah. Best case would be implement the monthly email, monthly update by a newsletter update, by the usage of a newsletter update. This works best because then you are out of this social media, we talk a lot about LinkedIn, but somehow we are also, we are not independent. We are dependent on LinkedIn. If LinkedIn changes the algorithm or whatever, we have a problem. And that's why also for our sales funnel, LinkedIn is perfect. We have very good contacts. We can qualify them, but at the end, we want to make business, also with the follow-ups, and therefore, best case, put them on newsletter and sell with your newsletter. I know it's not easy going. It's not the fast lane. You need to ramp up this process, takes sometimes months, years, but you have to have long time goals, and therefore I have to say it. Yeah.
This is a long-term game, especially for those who would like to get a great job, CTO. Often they, especially people from our community, they are not looking for a job immediately, but they expect that within 6 months or 12 months they will change a job. So they have plenty of time to implement what you suggest. And if someone is kind of ready to make a change, let's say within 3 or 6 months, and the person starts sending invites as you suggested, then after the connection request, there is this qualification message. So what does the qualification message for someone who is looking for a job look like? Is it something like, hey, are you looking for a CTO? That sounds a bit desperate. So what do you suggest?
That's too, let's say, pitchy. It's a hard pitch. I wouldn't suggest it. It's clear. If a CTO or interim CTO write a message to a CEO, he wants to have a kind of project. But I would prefer to talk about values, talk about added value for the CD or CEO. Deliver something what is interesting for them, also up to date, and qualify this person. And in the next step, if there's more interest, I would ask about a call. It's also not easy going for some people to arrange a call. For example, if you say, okay, let's have a call. If it fits for you, does it fit next Wednesday, 9 or 10 a.m.? Okay, so then he can just say, okay, 9 a.m. fits, and you can send the call. Yeah, you will get the email. It's very easy going for the CEO. So that's why I would make it always very easy going for your target customer. Yeah. Also, you can ask them, maybe you have a Calendly link. If not, here's mine. Please always not too pushy. If you just say, here's my Calendly link, it's like, okay, I don't want to waste time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But if you make it on a very clever way, I'll say, maybe you have a Calendly link. If not, here's mine. For me, it would fit on Wednesday morning. Very good. It's very professional. Yeah. And the conversion rate of people who booked the call will be higher than compared to here's my Calendly link. Feel free to book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. Now, when you say it this way, it kind of reminds me the friendly way of talking instead of the Chat GPT generated style, you know, and
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
yeah,
It's a
that's fun these
people
days.
business, and they will feel it. It's a real intent. Does this interim CTO really wants to help me? Is good in his business, because the communication is always important. He has to
Mm.
communicate with the employees in the company, and he is the CEO, and for him it will be very important, or her.
Mhm. Yeah.
And yeah, therefore the style of communication is very important, and
Mm.
will influence the all the connection rate, the booking rate,
Yeah.
everything. Yeah.
And we can assume that most of the messages still go unread, or actually, no, they go unresponded. But would you say they are also unread, or people just read those messages and they decide not to respond, or they postpone it?
Yeah, it depends. I said 30% connection rate is quite good. Then you don't know what happened with the other percentage, but what you can influence is only write messages to active profiles. And therefore, we have a special procedure which we can use with the Sales Navigator, that we write the messages only to active profiles, or to the most interesting profiles. Therefore, you have special filters like people who posted in the last 90 days,
Mhm.
people who changed their job in the last 90 days. It's also important to write messages to them for the second one, to change the job, because out of these statistics, they have 3 times higher buying possibility.
Wow, three
Yeah,
times. Wow.
it's 3 times. So you should use such criteria
Mhm.
to increase your connection rate, etc.
Yeah.
And because for the other guys, you don't know what happened, why they didn't connect, because if they don't connect with you, you have no possibility to write more messages. You can
Mhm.
write emails, but I would not recommend to write emails.
Yeah.
It's kind of pushy, and I would suggest to write organic, normal messages, for example, with the normal LinkedIn mode or with the Sales Navigator. Yeah.
Yeah. And there is also an option to withdraw a connection request, so just in case someone does not accept after 30 days or
Yeah.
after 2-3 months. Would you suggest to withdraw the messages that are pending and then resend again in 3 or 6 months?
Very good question. I cannot tell you exactly, but we also do it. Like if the connection requests are older than 3-4 months, you can withdraw them. Yeah, because it will be a criteria also for the LinkedIn algorithm.
Mhm.
What is your connection rate? And then you will have a lower social selling index, and this will influence yeah, your activity, or the rate of yeah, impressions. And yeah, it's a value for the algorithm to
Yeah.
spread your contact, and etc. etc. Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, I just at some point opened this list and I found connection requests that I sent from a year ago, 2 years ago, and it was like
Yeah.
end list. So,
Yeah. It's
so
very hard to delete.
yeah, one by one, really.
One by one. Yeah. It's a
That's
special
crazy.
job, but you should definitely do it.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
awesome. Cool. There was one question I wanted to ask before this one, but I just lost it. It was related to what you were just talking about, the posts, and
Mhm.
lost it. So I got distracted by these withdrawals. Okay, but anyway, just thinking about people who are on job market looking for a change. Is there any kind of last advice that you would like to give them about how to get most out of the opportunity out there? Because it could be really overwhelming for a lot of people with
Mhm.
the sales navigator and posts and connections and withdrawals now and email newsletters and everything. So how are there any quick wins that you have seen with clients who are looking for projects or jobs?
In my eyes, is very easy. Yeah. We also made a kind of LinkedIn routine, 15 minutes per day. And the first thing is answer your messages. Then second thing, react on contacts for your postings. Post once a week, and then comments. Yeah. And if you just can finish the first step, then you just can finish the first step. Then you do the second step on the second day and so on. But you should have a routine and only do one fingerprint per message. That's also important. Like if you see a message, a reply to your message, answer. And if you cannot answer, leave the message unread. And if you follow this routine, you will have success. You can only grow because the platform is growing, your target group is on the platform, and then it's about to have numbers. Like you should have like 100 at the very beginning, or let's say 10 new connection requests per day. Yeah. And one post per week, and measure what is working, and then do it day by day in your LinkedIn routine. And this will help you a lot, because then the algorithm will be on your side because you're active, you have a routine, and your content will be spread to more people. You will have more interesting contacts because you only connect to your target group, and you should